Congratulations, Milwaukee Milkmen shirt, fantastic.
Yeah, it's one of our promotional auction shirts this summer from Mike Zimmerman has a foundation called Rock Foundation. Benefits the youth of the Milwaukee area, whether it's getting them into professional sporting events. Sort of uses that money from the foundation to help youth in the area. So some people auction for these jerseys, and my wife won it. So
good for her. And it says, as a result, we talked before you headed out to Milwaukee. Before it was actually really sure that you'd have a team, but you would be playing. It wasn't quite clear at that time, but obviously you became the first organized baseball game anywhere.
Yeah.
So tell me about the publicity rich surrounding the first game.
Oh, it was amazing, and all thanks to the owners involved, and Josh Schaub, our commissioner, and Josh Buchholz, our executive director. And not only we were the first organized baseball game of this year, but we had fans, which was even more special, because anytime you go out there, I think it's a little easier for the players, for us to be juiced up when you have fans that support you. And in Franklin this summer was outstanding. Our fan support was amazing. And we kept everyone safe, and that was the biggest thing. We had a plan. Mike Zimmerman and Rock Ventures had a plan, COVID-19 readiness plan, and we followed it, and we kept everyone safe. And I think just being, the first league to show that we could do it successfully, it bodes well for the future, because you don't know what's going to happen in 2021 and going on. So, and we already proved that we can do it and be successful. So I think having the fan experience too was huge, and just showing how far we came from year one to year two.
So what was it like? I mean, the other side of was a team managed by Butch Hobson.
Yeah.
Those small potatoes.
It was the way it was set up. We actually had to play Chicago 24 times this summer, so I got to see a lot of Butch, and he's a really good guy. We we had our battles. Anytime you have two teams that are less than 60 miles away, I guess, it's become a big rivalry. And Butch is gets good players. He knows the game. He was obviously in the big leagues as a manager for multiple years with the Red Sox. So just being on the other side in the other dugout, at first it was a little bit like I was in awe a little bit, but after you just get playing, you get to managing, and you let your players play the game. It's you stick with what's made you successful in the past, and we had some good games with Chicago, and at the end though I think we came out on top in the 24 games this summer. We got the best of them a little bit. But that can all change every year. So
how did you get your players?
So we have it's a very detailed roster, player procurement. We get a Major League Baseball release list basically from all the minor leagues organizations from the end of our season to the beginning. So it's a accumulation of probably over 1,000 names, with their agents' names, with their phone numbers, email addresses, and just a lot of research. And that's I know we kept 5 guys from last year's team, 2019. We sort of wanted to make sure we brought the right guys back, and we obviously did. And then from there on, we had to fill that roster, and a lot of minor league releases, major league releases, made a couple trades within the league and outside of the league. So we, just a lot of, me, Mike Zimmerman, and Dan Kinsey back September, I think it was like September 15th last year maybe. We just started working on this, and we said, hey, this is what we want to we wanted to make sure we got winners, guys that have been around winning, guys that can create a good clubhouse atmosphere. And that was sort of what happened this year. We got a lot of guys that had been in the big leagues and guys that had been at the highest level. So it was a really good group of guys.
So these guys who are major leaguers, they've come, they've tasted it,
yeah,
and then they come down and they're in an independent league, which was the American Association.
Yeah.
Were they embittered, or were they delighted to just get another chance?
Oh, they're delighted. They want to keep playing. They get another chance to showcase themselves in front of scouts, in front of other organizations. So I have not met a guy yet from that level that like seems sour to be there. They're all invested. They want to show people that they have a chip on their shoulder, and they want to show people that they belong back in the big leagues. I mean, we had Henderson Alvarez this summer, former All-Star in the big leagues, threw a no-hitter in the big leagues, and me and Henderson communicated. Actually got him via Twitter, and we communicated via Twitter, and then a lot of Google, I don't know Spanish great, so me and him had to communicate. It was challenging, but Henderson just wanted to show people that he was healthy, and he's still only 29 years old, so he has a lot left in the tank. So he was a big part of our championship this year, and just showing people that they're still at that level. And their work ethic, and you can see why these guys have made it to the highest level. They go to work every day, so it's really fun to watch.
The team that's assembled, was there much movement during the course of a year?
We sort of kept with, we brought in 28 guys to camp, and then you have to have a 23-man roster, so we didn't make a whole lot of moves throughout the course of the year. We stuck with what we felt. It was a smaller season than usual, but and with the COVID stuff, we didn't want to make a ton of moves because the testing protocols and different things to get a guy in. Usually in a normal year, you can fly a guy in that day and they can play that night. But with the COVID-19 stuff, they had to get tested and they had to get cleared, and there's a lot that went into procuring a player to get. If you want to make a move, you better be really sure that move was. Because it might take 5 days to get the test results, or 3 to 5 days, or whatever. So we sort of stuck with our guys. We had a lot of confidence in them, and trusted that we had the right guys at the beginning of the year that were going to lead us to a championship.
Now, the actual decision making of who to bring in, is that yours?
Yeah, we have it's me, Mike, Dan, and we just sort of put our heads together, and Mike and Dan trust a lot what I have to say, and we just sort of make sure it's a good business decision.
Mike, is he pretty hands-on?
He is. It's his team, but he obviously trusts what we want to do, and he's a young guy. He's basically my age, so he enjoys the game and he enjoys his team. So he's hands-on. He likes to be around the guys, and it's fun because we win a big game, he'll be in there giving high fives, and he's a great owner because guys see him. He's visible, which is outstanding because our players know that our owner cares. Yeah. And anytime your owner cares and wants to, he gives us anything we need. So as an organization, as a manager, that's what I love it because if I need something, I can go to Mike and say, hey, we need this, or it's just a really good way to do it.
The league consisted of 6 teams?
Yep.
And 2 divisions?
No, just one big division.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you play, you mentioned Chicago 24 times.
Yeah.
Did you similarly have, how was it distributed out over the...
Yeah, so we played everybody, obviously, multiple times, but we would play the team that was closest to us, I think. The majority, but it was funny though. We played Sioux Falls in the championship series, and we only played them 6 times during the regular season, so we didn't really have a really great scouting report on them, and they didn't have one on us. But during the regular season, we split 3-3. So we knew heading into that series was going to be a difficult series, and they were a totally opposite team of us, totally different ballparks. It couldn't have been, more dissimilar teams.
In what ways?
We were just a really good pitching, defensive team. They were the best offensive team in the league. Their ballpark, it's called the Bird Cage because, it's called the Bird, they're the Canaries, but it's called the Bird Cage, I think, too, because it's sort of a small park in the dimensions, and the ball flies out of there. So in our ballpark, depending on the wind from Lake Michigan, the wind can come in and it's challenging just to score runs. So we, it was good. I think it was good we had home field advantage, but we didn't need it. But 2 different teams. We ran a lot more than they did, stole some bases. But they were a really good team, good manager. We just got the best of them that series.
So in that league also was the famed St. Paul's team of Michael Veck.
Yep.
Was he a presence?
When you go there, you hear about him. Bill Murray's part owner, and we went there at the end of the year, and you don't really get to see them. The ballpark's it's such a big ordeal, so it's like you get there, and especially with the COVID-19 stuff this year, you get your temperatures taken, you go into your clubhouse, and you do your thing. But it's always a pleasure to go to St. Paul, to see the ballpark, to see how they do things. But it's also nice to show that we could compete with them this year and win a championship. So I think that was really big for year 2 for us. St. Paul's had this legacy for years in independent baseball. They've always been sort of like the New York Yankees. Maybe we can be like the Boston Red Sox now. So, but it's it's been a good thing. And there's been talk about them moving to affiliated baseball, and we're not sure what they're going to do, but they do things the right way. They get good players there. They've had the same manager there, I think, for 17 years. So pretty solid organization.
So how has it with 6 teams? When in a normal year, would there be more teams? Was there some that opted out?
Yeah, some teams opted out. There's 12 teams in the league. Some teams opted out based on the geographical rules and laws of their states. Usually 4 teams make the playoffs. This year they just cut it to 2. So, but yeah, it's we're hoping we should have back to normal next year, and with possible minor league contraction going on, we're hoping possibly some expansion teams. So
talk about that. What's the word on the street? We read some of that. Major League's agreement with the minor leagues, I think, is up. It's over. September 30th. And certainly they've floated the idea, it's public, about reducing potentially 42 teams.
Yeah.
Have you heard much more?
Yeah, we hear about it all the time. Just to hear the same thing you've probably heard. I think we'll hear more in the next week to 10 days, but there's going to be contraction. They already did the Appalachian League, the Appy League. They made that into a summer collegiate league. Run with USA Baseball and MLB. That's going to be a summer collegiate league. So those teams have already, they're out of professional baseball. We're here in the Pioneer League, the New York Penn League, certain franchises, possibly even, some AA franchises. So, we hear a lot about, because we're now, I don't know if you saw the article, we're partnered with MLB, the American Association now. All 3 independent leagues, the American Association, the Frontier League, and the Atlantic League, 4 days ago partnered with MLB, and we're going to be working side by side with them on some things, into the future, which is a great opportunity for our players, for our organizations to showcase, what we have. And a lot has to do with the fact that we have, in my opinion, our facilities are very similar to AA and AAA facilities. So I think MLB wants to put their players in the best situations. So,
will they be lending out players? Is that the idea?
Well, this summer we had some players from affiliated organizations with us, and MLB let them loan players out. So we had a guy from the Brewers. That was a AA guy, and a guy with the Texas Rangers that was in AAA. So their organizations, they let them loan them out. There's certain agreements and written paperwork, but different things. I don't know what it's going to mean in the future, but we'll find out more here soon.
Given the contraction, which is probable, or actually is happening now, what's that do for a collegiate league? Like, you're in the Perfect Game Collegiate League here. You were part of it for many years.
Yeah.
And your first reaction is that the pool of players will be greater.
Yeah, it's going to be tougher because, like I said, the Appy League is now run by USA Baseball and MLB, and they already said that they're going to identify 360 of the best players that they want to, because they're going to have their hands on it. So it'll just be more competition. I think a little bit more difficult to draw the top talent, because if MLB and USA Baseball are sending their identified guys to these leagues, then it's going to be tough to get, it's going to be tough for the Cape Cod League. It's going to be tough for a lot of those leagues. But, cities still need baseball. So, I think it's just the product and how hard you work at it and the type of guys you get in. I think, with the past reputation of Jamestown, I don't think there'll be a problem getting good players.
Everywhere Anthony Barone goes, he wins. It's happening again in Wisconsin. And 34-26 record, championship, American Association. That's a long ways from having a really fairly mediocre, if lousy, season the year before.
Yeah, we learned a lot that first season, and what would work, what wouldn't work. And I've always just tried to work hard, and I don't accept failure very well. So I told Mike and Dan, like, hey, we're going to win this, and we're going to turn this thing around. And I've always been confident in myself and my ability to lead a club, and just really focused on winning and doing things the right way. And winning, it's contagious. So I think once we've shown, now that we've won, we've already gotten calls from players like, hey, we want to come to Milwaukee. So it's always nice. We showcased ourselves. We were on a platform this summer, not much baseball, so bodes well for the future. But yeah, I just love to win, and I just don't accept the losing. And you got to get the right guys. And then that's, at the end of the day, it's the guys you bring in to the clubhouse that play the game, that, those are the guys that win the games. They're the ones that hit the home runs, and we can put them in good situations and different things. But, and I think I told you before, it's just trusting your players, and I'm not a big micromanager. I let the guys go out there and do their thing. They're there for a reason. They've been at that level for a reason. And it's my first year as a manager professionally in professional baseball. I was, the guys responded, and I just wanted to make sure I kept it loose and let them have some fun. We all went through, been going through the pandemic this year, and a lot of hurdles to get to where we were. And I think, like I was telling my wife, if I managed through a pandemic and was pretty successful, so hopefully, the rest of the way it's smooth sailing.
How was the response from the community? I mean, as the season went on, did your attendance continue to stay?
Yeah, our attendance was great. So we were able to, I think, be at a 33% capacity for most of the year. And Franklin, the surrounding area of Franklin, really supported us. And it was, some nights it felt like the noise, like it felt like it was almost like a packed house. And then by the end of the year, I think the last week, Franklin, the county, and the city of Franklin, they made it to 50%. So there was a night I think we had over a couple thousand people, and it's remarkable. And they even had watch parties when we were on the road in Sioux Falls in South Dakota for game 3, 4, and 5. So we had we have this big scoreboard in left field, and we have it's called the Hop Yard, where people drink, eat, and all that. And we had our own watch party, so they streamed the game to the video board, and we had great fan support. And we know we compete with the Brewers, but we really don't. We're a different product. We're more family friendly, more affordable. And I think you get to know our guys a little bit better, and our guys are good, and they're good players. I mean, if you go to a game, if you go to one of our games, you go to a Brewers game, it's very similar. You still see guys throwing 98, 100. You still see guys that have been all-stars in the big league. So baseball-wise, you get to know the players a little bit more, I think, and it's more affordable. And
did the players have access to the fans during the pandemic? I suspect not.
No, we didn't. I mean, we weren't allowed to sign autographs or any of that stuff. But just talking from 10 yards away, just you see a kid in the stands, and we weren't allowed to throw baseballs to him or anything like that or anything. But there's still the interaction, and you still see kids chasing after foul balls. We have a sort of a Bermuda area where the seating, the kids can, it's still the same, the left fielders talking to guys over the fence. It's a great atmosphere. Our fans are, I think, the best in the American Association.
So what's next? What's next for you?
I just a little bit of downtime, just back home with the family, and now it's just defending the title, trying to repeat. I never got a chance in Jamestown to try to repeat in 2018. That was it. So didn't get to defend the title. So and one of the funnest parts is getting the guys ring sizes for the championship rings. So that's sort of, that's the next. But no, we're gonna have to make some acquisitions this off season and different things like that. But I'm gonna enjoy it for sure. And it was a lot of hard work, but just trying to do the same thing. Just put a good product out there and make sure we do things the right way on and off the field, and create the culture of winning for sure.
Do you guys have spring training?
We have 2 weeks. We have 2 weeks of training camp where where do you
go?
We stay there
Okay.
in Milwaukee, and normal year we have 2 weeks, and then you were allowed to bring 28 guys into camp, and you have to make 5 roster moves. So but this year I think we had like 10 days, so it was a little bit shortened, but overall it was good. Yeah. And we'll most spring trainings we'll have exhibition games against maybe the Frontier League or different leagues. So
Do you ever do pause and pinch yourself, saying, "Look at you're a headline. Barone leads Milkmen. Everywhere he goes, he wins."
Yeah, it's I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. That moment of winning a championship, it's surreal. I think I said the same thing in 2018 with Jamestown. It's funny how they both ended too. We were both on the road for both championships. We had our closer in for both games. I think it was about the same lead, and it was a fastball up in the zone, that swinging strike 3 to end the series. And it's surreal. I said it in 18. You sort of think back to all those days when you're younger, and it comes full circle. All the days you've been working towards this, all the people that have helped you in your life get to that point, and it's an amazing feeling winning. It's tough to explain, but yeah, I pinch myself every day, and I'm so thankful for this. I wouldn't have wanted to do anything else, growing up. This has always been something, just being in sports, being in baseball, my passion, my love for it. And like I said before, my father and my grandfather, they really, showed me the way with baseball, and my love started at a young age.
So here's the book.
Oh wow!
This is the book. It's coming out tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow, I'm going to give you one.
Okay, awesome.
And you're in it.
Okay.
And it talks about you and your managing, as well as an article about when you came back and announced that it was not going to be here anymore, and the offer of Rock to make it available to us. So it literally goes from 1866 to the beginning of the Tarp Skunks, and we have yet to lose a game. I want you to know.
That's good. It's better than I did then.
So you can report back to Mike and Dan that we've got a significant number of investors, and even though we lost the season, as did everybody but you, there's a lot of hope here. Yeah,
it's exciting. Baseball's such a community sport, community driven, and it makes such a difference in the community. It made a difference with me as a young kid, and going back, I can still remember the old Jamestown Expos. When I was living in Toledo, I'd go see the old Mud Hens games, and you just develop your passion for the game at a young age. So if you can make a difference in a community with a sport, I think that's the best thing. So, but yeah, I'm very thankful for my time here, and it's sort of all been a bit of a rise in like the last couple of years, and just really grateful for obviously my time here. I still call this home in the off season, so my kids, my wife, and we all enjoy Jamestown, and it's a quaint community, but it still loves its team. So really interested to see how the Tarp Skunks will do in 2021. I'll always be, looking back at my time here because this wouldn't be possible without Jamestown. So from my time in high school to college to being with the Jammers, like none of this would be possible. So, it's been a great, it's a grounding, I always try to ground myself where I came from and how I got to the point I'm at. It's just hard work, and I think it's because of where you come from. Being from Jamestown, the hard work and blue collar mentality, I just I've always wanted to keep that mentality with me.
You're great. Thank you. This is fabulous.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks for the report.
Yeah.